Hi, this is Bart Sharp, author of Magic Speaks. One of the most important things about living in the space of magic and having magic in your life is living in the flow of life. In other words, that everything is easy inside of you. And everybody really wants that. It's like, God, I would like to be happy all the time. And there's like two strategies that are really important in getting this done. A, if anything is bothering you, resolve it. If you have to spend lots of days or even years working on repressed issues, it's work worth doing. Because A, it'll kind of take a lot of the anger or sadness or depression or needs for addictions out of your life. And all of those things stop the flow of yourself and your magic. So, this is a core part of us is that we had to resolve our issues. And when we get that big part done, where we're no longer addicted or depressed or have lots of repressed anger, then there's always little things. And those things, when they show up, don't let them sit around. Find your resolution. Find some way that there's no longer a knot in your stomach, that it's free. And the other half of this finding the flow of your life is whenever you wake up every day, think about what adventures you're going to have. Now, you may be going to the job that you've been doing for 20 years, working 5 days a week. But still, when you live in the attitude of like, how can I make this different? How can I have a great adventure today? What adventures will I have today? We open ourselves to possibilities to seeing everything differently. And when we step into the mundane and see everything differently, all of a sudden it gets lighter because we see it differently. Mundaneness is one of the things that can really get us staying in one point of view, in a place where we're not moving and where no flow is happening. So staying in those questions about seeing different possibilities is huge. And it's also very important to just keep creating every day. Finding things that you do and just think of it kind of as a palette where you have, your painting or your writing or, meditations, or you have a relationship that you practice consciousness with and great communication skills. You may like bicycling, the list goes on and on. And these things aren't done for escapism. They are done because they make something inside of you feel more alive and vibrant. When you do them, your mind gets stimulated and you're just feel something bigger inside of you. That's really what you're looking for, is to find those things that do that. You have more intensity happening and you're just with your mind and your body in this communion together in this creative form. And you may have one thing that you do, and I used to do painting 20 years ago. This is kind of when I started my journey with this. I knew when I had a brush in my hand and was on the canvas, that opened up for me. Now, 20 years later, there is a list of things that do that because I've been able to teach myself. And I don't hold on to a lot of anger or other negative emotions inside of me. So it's this big, clear space that happens. The creativity powers something inside of me that's great and grand. And therefore, whatever I create seems to have more magic to it. Because I have this big space growing inside of me. It's living in spirit. You can call it living with God. You can also call it presence inside of yourself. One thing it all is magical and enjoyable and a satisfying and whole life. Because magic is that. We feel full and whole inside of ourselves. So this is Bart Sharp, author of Magic Speaks.